Oh, look out. We're going to fight. Let's go. You know, a lot of you, I didn't say all of you, a lot of you, some of you, how's that? Make it softer? You look for wokeness in places it's not. You seem to want to find it, and it's not here. Wrong place, wrong argument. The first thing that comes to mind, and I've been through so many variations of rage, your rage. The first thing that comes to mind, and this happens to me often, and I'm, for better or worse, been sitting behind a microphone a long time, so I've heard a lot of stuff. I've heard a lot of urban legends. I've heard a lot of fake things that turn into rage. It's amazing every single time. The first thing that comes to mind is you've fallen for it again. Okay, I'll correct that. Some of you have fallen for it again. And I think that's because you want to fall for it. Screaming woke is easy. It really is. There's a famous wordism, or not so famous wordism. Thinking is hard, hating is easy. Screaming woke is really easy. But you've let the right-wing rage machine fed by politicians desperate to distract you and trick you into believing that you are under some sort of attack. It is the political mantra of the past 20 years. Oh no, look out, you're under attack. You're not. I'm not. But people desperately want to believe it. I'm sure somewhere in all of this is some psychology that I'm just not able to pull out. I'm just not able to get it. So I'm sure there's something to this, wanting to believe you're under attack. And you know what's going to happen? I saw this yesterday, felt it yesterday. You get mad at me because I'm telling you not to be mad. So I'm walking out of the gym earlier today. In the screen, it's on the elliptical machines and treadmills and stuff. You can always tell the demographics of different media by who at the gym is watching what. So as I'm walking out, picking up my bottle of water, headed out the door, and the screen says, it's a Fox News headline leading into a talk show, and it says, Olympics engulfed in controversy. There it is. I know. I've lived it so many times. No, actually, Fox News would like the Olympics to be engulfed in controversy. For my business, to be honest with you, I'd like the Olympics to be engulfed in controversy. And there will be controversy. There will. I look forward to talking about it. But I think a lot of you only want one kind of controversy. So a lot of people are so desperate to believe that you're under attack by wokeness, and them, in all caps, them, whoever they are out there, you're under attack. Look out. So you use the Ivy League swimmer. An example I could give, I can just sort of chart the years of these sort of almost urban legend-like things that come up that are used politically, successfully used politically. There was once the bathroom bill. We can go down the list. I've heard them all. But you use the Ivy League swimmer and an Algerian female boxer as evidence that our daughters are under attack. That is just the most amazing connection to me. It really is. As a parent, by the way, of many, many kids, as a parent of a daughter, there are a lot of concerns we have about our kids. I have concerns about our kids. Our parents would probably say we worry too much. We worry about their safety. Being injured by a transgendered athlete is not on the list. It shouldn't be on yours. It's not on mine. My daughter being an Olympic boxer, a professional boxer, is not on my list. It's not on the list because it doesn't happen. My kid's school, my kid's school being shot up by a lunatic with a killing machine, that worries me. And even that's thankfully rare, but it still worries us. Getting injured in a 6th grade volleyball game by a transgendered athlete does not worry me, nor should it worry you. But man, do you want to get upset about it. You really, really want to get mad about this. So many people want to be so angry you're using an Algerian boxer to get mad about. I'm sorry, but I bet you most people in this country have no idea where that is. One example of an Ivy League swimmer has been turned into the boogeyman. Every 6 months or maybe once a year, we have another, and I believe that it is intentionally. I don't know who sits in an office somewhere and scoops this stuff up, but I believe it is politically fed because it works, and then it is the rage machine in my space that just makes it easier for you, and everybody just wants to freak out. But the Ivy League swimmer thing, the story, however many years ago that was, it's turned into, a lot of people act as if it's a regular occurrence. And a lot of you have fallen into the rage machine, and I think it's because you really just like it. I do. I don't think people fight it. I think people kind of enjoy it. It's easier. I've heard urban legend, rage machine marketing successfully pushed by, I believe, politicians and talk show hosts countless times since I've been sitting behind a microphone. It's still amazing to me and pretty pathetic. By the way, to be clear, just so I can get this out, so if you want to, I know you don't want me to tell you not to be mad, but if you want to be mad at me and start screaming woke or whatever you like to do, I don't think men should be competing against women in sports, in most sports. I don't know, maybe darts, I don't care. Chess, I don't know, I don't care. But in most sports, yeah, I've said that before. I've never said otherwise. My bigger problem is you've fallen for this mostly because of diabolical politicians and a dumbed-down conversation in the talk space. Dumber and dumber and dumber. The Algerian boxer in the Olympics, and it is controversial, all these testing issues and people trying to get around testing and doping and finding any edge you can has been controversial for some time. I remember taking this class in college. I had to have some sort of science elective, but it was taught by an expert on doping, and it was fascinating. It was a fascinating class. I mean, how far Olympic athletes, in most cases, they're not going on to great pro careers, how far they will go to beat the testing, get any edge whatsoever, no matter what it would do to their health. It's a bizarre mindset that most of us can't get. But the Algerian boxer is pretty amazing for you to rage about. The Algerian boxer issue is a sports science issue. It's not a woke issue. You want it to be. The talk space wants it to be. It's not. Okay? It's not woke. It's not a woke issue. And there are some out there, but that's not one of them. And you know what else it's not? This is the part that drives me mad. It's not an American domestic policy issue. Find something else. One, Algeria, just so you know, if people don't bother to read this stuff, but it's not exactly a woke place, particularly when it comes to female athletes. It's pretty far from it. Number two, a female boxer didn't claim to be male, nor did she claim to be transitioning to a male. The Olympics wouldn't let her fight. The Olympics have rules. They're not saying, ooh, we'll trick those Americans. We'll make them mad. We'll let somebody in. No. The Olympics wouldn't let her fight in the female category, just like the Olympics doesn't let her fight outside of her weight class. Three, I've heard this so many times now in 24 hours. Using the criteria, well, she looks like a dude. That's idiotic, right? That takes all the urban legend stuff and makes it even dumber. Think about that. She looks like a dude. That's idiotic. And that's impractical, by the way. It's an impractical standard to use. Imagine using that standard in Olympic sports across the board. And by the way, who would be the arbiter of that standard? Oh, she looks like a dude. So what? Then what? And then four, I guess, the science of doping in sports is complicated and it's advanced. Athletes, male or female, will use, and this is amazing, it's amazing psychology. And, there was even, I remember there's somebody, maybe the professor that I had done a study and asked Olympic athletes if they would die by the time they're 50, but would win a gold medal, would they do anything, even if it would kill them by the time they were 50? And something like 90% said yes. So it is the margin of error in elite sports is incredibly small. The science connected to elite sports, I'm not talking about your kid's club soccer team, okay? Elite sports, the science of it is advanced, and they will do anything, many of them, to do anything to get ahead and win. Anything, no matter what it does to them. They really lose sight. I mean, it's their world. I mean, for a lot of athletes, it's their world. And there is no, it's such tunnel vision. There is no view of how am I going to pan? I mean, what's it going to do to me? How's this going to work out for me? None of that. It's an in the moment, I've got to get an edge. And they find out somebody else is doping or lying or whatever it takes. They can't stand it. They'll do anything and use anything to get ahead. And governing bodies of sport have tried to keep up. That's a body of sports issues, by the way, just so everyone, it's a body of sports issues. It's not a presidential issue. God help us when you want that to be a presidential issue. And sadly and pathetically, it's not a governor of Texas issue. It's not. If you really, really want to care, parents and everyone else, if you really want to care about and find health issues as it relates to sport, I dare say transgendered athletes, even though this isn't one, you ought to be worried about Friday night concussions is what that's what you ought to ask the governor to worry about. And he would never say a word about that stuff. So please stop. By the way, to be clear again, I just don't think that men should be competing against women in most sports. And I've never said otherwise, just so we can get that out of the way again before you do that thing where you go, yeah, well, you want what to your daughter. So the actual story is the Algerian boxer had failed the gender test previously, but the IOC tests for this particular sport, some other governing body tests previously, but passed the most recent tests. And these sort of convoluted issues do come up a lot. They do. There's all sorts of, I bet you there's 6 or 7 of these exact examples of previous testing failing or then passing or, whatever. It happens often. Olympic athletes don't have a woke agenda. They don't. It's not that. It's not that. Stop. It's not. They have a win at any cost agenda. That's their agenda. They'll do anything. A lot of them. I'd love to say don't fall for the distraction, but that's up to you. The weird thing is, I think a lot of people want, you want to be distracted. This is much easier than arguing and trying to figure out the science of all this stuff and the testing and how complicated it is. I think a lot of people just want to be distracted and want this to be woke and want this to be controversy for woke reasons, right? Because getting mad, always, we've learned this, getting mad is much easier than trying to figure out a complicated doping issue.